In this section, we're going to be studying how to find the domain and range of a graph. Go ahead and recall that the domain is a set of all input values, and the domain of a graph is going to consist of all x values where our graph is defined. Let's go ahead and also translate the idea of a range. So the range is going to be all possible y values obtained by applying the function to the domain. Let's go ahead and look at an example, finding the domain and range of a given graph. Let me fix that, of the function. Okay, so we can do this pretty graphically, because again, the x values that define a number on the graph is going to be given. Okay, so we can do this pretty graphically. The x values that are going to be in the domain are going to define a number on the graph. Okay, so we can do this graphically, because the x values that are in the domain are going to define a number. Okay, we can do this graphically. So let's go ahead and find the domain first. And the domain, again, is going to be all the x values that define an x value on the graph. So I'm going to go ahead and write where all the x values define a number on the graph using green as such. So this is going to be 2, and then all the numbers that are less than 2 define some number on the graph. And so the domain given this graph is going to be all x values that are less than 2. So let me go ahead and just write it using interval notation. So this is going to be negative infinity to 2 open parentheses. And now to find the range, we just need to look at all possible y values on the graph. And we're going to go ahead and highlight this using blue. So the largest y value is 2, and all other y values are going to be lesser than 2, which means that all y values on the graph are less than or equal to 2, which means that the range of our graph is going to be equal to negative infinity to 2, including 2. And those are going to be our domain and range of this graph. Let's go ahead and do one more example in this section. So this is going to be example 5. And again, we just want to go ahead and find the domain and range given some graph. So let me go ahead and draw this graph, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's our graph. The first thing that we can notice about this graph is the graph is not connected. So we'll need to find the domain piece by piece And same thing with the range. We're going to need to define this piece by piece. So we'll go ahead and get started with the range. So again, let me just state that the scale of these tick marks are just given by units of 1. So the x values that occur on the graph on the left-hand side are going to be the following values: -1 to -2. And the values on the right-hand component are going to be the x values between 1 and 3, but not including 3. So the domain of this function is going to be given by two pieces. We're going to have -2 to -1, including the endpoints, and we're also going to have 1 to 3, but not including 3, with our union sign here. Now let's go ahead and look at the range. So again, we can do this piece by piece. The range of our piece on the left-hand side is going to occur between the values of 1 and 2, and the range of the piece on the right-hand side is going to occur between the values of 3 and 1, but not including 1 itself. So writing this out, what we see is the range of this function is going to be from 1 to 2, including the endpoints, union 1 to 3, where 3 is included, but 1's not included.